Record. All right, so we're recording now. Shit, turn this thing down. Tonight, let me see. Brittany, Desiree is here too. Does anyone who wants to go first? Who already have the what do you call it? The three herbs for the three conditions, and you just wanna basically share why you're using that herb for that condition. All right, so anybody could start at any point in time.
Oh wait, I probably should type.
You could type it if you want, or you could just say. You could say it if you want. So let me see. All right. So you didn't get the assignment? Okay. This is why you have to check. You gotta check daily. You gotta check daily. If you don't check daily, you might miss it. The assignment was three conditions. The three conditions was constipation, indigestion, and what do you call that thing? MS, right? And then you will go to the Herbal Library and you pick from there that you would like to use for each one. And then basically you'll be somebody turned the mic on, but we're hearing like a lot of screeching in the background.
Sorry, the last condition you said MMS?
No, MS. Multiple
MS.
sclerosis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. Desiree, I know you're ready.
Okay. For indigestion, I put calendula because it reduces inflammation in the bowels and it relaxes constriction of the digestive muscles.
It what?
For constipation, I put dandelion for its laxative properties and it stimulates the bowels. And then for multiple sclerosis, I put skullcap because it revitalizes the nervous system because multiple sclerosis affects the central nervous system. And that's what I put.
Okay. That's good. Anyone would like to add to that? Is there anything else? No? No herbs off the top of your head that you think you could use for constipation? All right. So let me look at MS, right? MS is what do you call it, boy? It's an autoimmune disease, right? Where they say the body is attacking itself, especially in the nervous system. Now, my question to everyone is, does nature destroy itself?
No.
Right? Because nature is the energy. We do hear a lot of what do you call it? Devastations and catastrophes and stuff like that. But when we look at what nature had destroyed, is it anything natural? We see people grieving and stuff like that, and some of them sometimes just happy that they still have their lives. Others just can't take it. But is it anything natural that nature destroyed on its path? If it's a hurricane, if it's a earthquake, tornadoes, whatever you want to call it. No? Yes, no? All right, well, I will say no, all right? So if that's the case, then the whole thing about autoimmune disease where the body's attacking itself, does that make any sense? Right? And I don't want to say it don't make sense, right? But how much sense does it make to you, right? But we know nature don't destroy itself. So the body will never be attacking itself. When you look at what they call it, when you look at autoimmune disease, especially the MS, where the bacteria is so intelligent that it duplicates the cells of the body, and as it does that, it starts multiplying and it starts taking over the nervous system, right? Taking over the whole damn body. When you have a worm, if you cut a worm in two, what do you have? Two worms, right? The worm don't die. So now, when you have these two worms, and this is why parasites are so hard to get rid of the body, right? Because they're very intelligent. It's like when you start drinking the bitter stuff, it's like they run and hide, right? That's the exact same thing with what they call that herpes, right? With that herpes bacteria, they run and they hide all the way down to the edge of the spine, right? And it's hard to come out. It's hard to get rid of, but once you know what you're doing, they have no choice. They cannot stay in there, right? So when it comes to any type of autoimmune, it's not that the body is attacking itself. There's some type of bacteria that has the ability to mimic cells. And that is what's going on with the MS. So now you come in and you give them the skull cap, right, which energizes the nervous system, right? But with that energizing, right, it helps with the bacteria also. Skull cap there's so much the skull cap could really do, but as you say, in this case, with the MS, you're using it to energize the nervous system, right? And that is how you start looking at things, because reason why I tell you just do one when we go through. Now you targeting, right? You targeting with the ones. Then once we start doing combinations now, you still targeting, but now you're looking at the body as a whole. And when you see the body as a whole, what happens? Now you target all 12 systems. And this is how you come up with blends. And not to the point where you have to use 12 different herbs. As the more herbs we talk about, take dandelion, for example. You say you use dandelion for constipation. Now, what I will ask is it in the raw form or the dry form? Or either?
In the raw
No,
form.
raw form? Okay. Well, raw form obviously will work a little faster, right? And that's because it has the water. You don't have to add water to it, right? And it will give a lot of energy and stuff like that, just like the dry one. But the thing is with dandelion, although it stimulates the colon and stuff like that, right? It also pulls a lot of water. So when we spoke last week about the water swelling up in the legs and maintaining itself in the body, taking up space, dandelion will be something you could give to somebody to actually remove that water from the body. So in your case where you say you use it for the colon, now, as I say, you're being specific with your herbs, right? And dandelion is something that if you put in it for the colon, what it's going to do, it's not only going to stimulate it, but it's going to pull a lot of water to the colon. Exactly. Right? It's going to pull a lot of water to the colon, where the colon itself is the reservoir of the body. This is why they say, you got to drink a lot of water to maintain bowel movement. Right? So there's so much that dandelion does. It's like, that's why anytime you see a herb just everywhere, it's there for a reason. It's not just no random stuff. Okay, it's not random. It's there for a reason. It called you for a reason. The next one was the indigestion. Which one you had for indigestion again?
I had calendula.
Calendula. Okay. Yep. Calendula is definitely for indigestion. Some people find calendula bitter, right? Some others drink it like water. I find it sweet. But to the normal person, if you have an indigestion, calendula would definitely be bitter to you, right? Because the whole thing about the indigestion is that your stomach is not producing enough acid. The only how that happens is because of a high intake in sugar. Or I should say the main reason is a high intake in sugar. So if you take in all that sugar, right, isn't sugar acidic? So if sugar is acidic and the way how we drink it down, like in the soda form, what happens now is you take it down and it just bypass the stomach. The stomach doesn't have to produce any acid because all you're taking in is acid. So what is there to be broken down? Right? This is how the alkaline comes in. So when you alkaline, the stomach produce acid to help break it down the food. Right? So when you drink the calendula now, it will be bitter to them. And the whole action of bitterness actually stimulates the stomach to produce more acid. Right? This is why when it comes to the stomach, any problems with it, right? You definitely, when it comes to acid reflux, indigestion, all them type of stuff where people burping and all that type of stuff all the time, the more bitter you could go, the faster it fixes, right? It fixes the problem. Right? This most of the time I just tell people use aloe, right? Because with the indigestion and all that stuff coming up and burning the esophagus, you want something to cool it down. Remember, if it's inflamed, you want to cool it down, right? It's all about the elements. If it's too much water, you want to dry it out. So you use fire, right? Simple stuff like that. Let's see. Brittany, you ready or no? Ashley, you ready? Melissa, you ready? All that time I was talking, I know you all have 3 herbs that you want to use for constipation. No? Okay. Let me see. When it comes to herbs, let's talk about the herb because what we still on is space, right? Ether, clearing space. There was 2 questions I got today concerning the ether, right? Now, if you all have a question, just ask it. All right, just type it in the group. Ask it. Don't hold on to it. Don't try and send it in a separate. Put it in the group. That way, everybody could see it, and everybody could get something from it. Now, one person was trying to figure out how do you see someone. When I said that someone could have too much space within themselves, right, within the body, or too little space. So they wanted to know how could you see that in a person. Now, I told them you can't. You guys have any thoughts on that? Can you see someone that has too much ether or too little ether within the body?
What do you mean by ether? Can you explain that?
Okay. Well, ether is space, right? And we know when we first started that without space, nothing could be here, nothing could exist. When we look at nature, without space, the planets wouldn't be here, the whole universe wouldn't be here, right? None of us would be here. Same thing with society. Say this room, if they didn't have space in this room, then I wouldn't be here, right? So without space, we can't have anything. Now, when we look at the body has tons of spaces, and every space is for something to transform, right? So we look at the lungs, right? The lungs have a lot of space, and that space is for air, which gives us the first food of the body, which is the oxygen. If we fill the lungs with water, then obviously the body dies because there's no space, right, for you to get oxygen, right? So when it comes to seeing space, too much space or too little space in a person, how could you see that? How could you identify that? Right? On a physical level, obviously you could see it. You can't see the ether, but you could see everything that's happening in the ether, right? Because when we go back to ether, we know ether is represented by what color? Black. Now, if I put you in a room, shut the lights off and seal it up, so basically you're in a vault, no lights. Can you see anything? You won't be able to see anything because it will be pitch black, right? So, but you could feel, and as we talked last time, you definitely could feel ether. Energy is something we could only feel, we cannot see, right? When the seeing comes in is physical, right? And as the physical comes, what is the physical? The physical is water, it's fire, represented by the sun, earth, and air, right? And we look at those four things and we could identify what is going on with the ether. Now, pay attention. When you ever hear they say, somebody say you look spaced out, right? Or you tell somebody that they look spaced out, it's like they're in space. Is that too much ether?
Yeah.
It's too much ether because in our minds, in our training or our education, that is not normal, right? It's not normal to be like that, to be spaced out. So now we start looking at the body and what it's doing to try and identify problems with the ether, right? On a physical level, if your body, if your lungs have water in it midway up, right? We could use song, and what we do with the song is listen to the lungs. If you hear the gurgling, obviously there's water in there. If we use x-rays and stuff like that, we could introduce light to the body, right? We see water, right? Let me ask this. It's very interesting how you design what you are. Reason I say that is because it's only when you introduce light to the body to the insides of the body is when you actually see organs and stuff like that. You know, other than that, this is sealed for a reason. And the reason it's sealed is because it's just energy. Energy is constantly flowing. It's only when you slice somebody up and you take it out and you bring it into the open where there's light, you start seeing body parts. And then if you pay attention to them body parts, now you start matching them with the foods out there and shit, that's a whole other story. But when the body is sealed, it's only, and the only other time is when we introduce light. That's the only other time. So you design your body so specific to plants out here, right? That you could just look at what's going on and match it, and you know, that's a big whole energetics right there, right? What else? When you talk about mental space, because they said that when they talk about identifying mental space, they think about Scorpios. Because Scorpios is like everywhere. You know, they don't really stay still or something like that. But then now I ask if that person is neither here nor there, does that really mean they have too much space, or is the air element too high within the body? Because the air is the only thing that blows here and there and everywhere. And you could actually see that with a person, you know, they can't really stay with one thing too long and complete it. They're just blowing all over the place. That's, now, if you see that, obviously, the body has too much air. Then you have people who, like, firm with it. When you look at pastors and, you know, believers and stuff like that, they're firm, they're grounded. So they're full of earth. They're grounded in their belief. So they're full of earth. You start seeing patterns of the elements within people. It's simple, like it's as easy as that. Right? As easy as that. Now, with all that said, so can we see ether within the body?
Yes.
All right. No, I just want to make sure that way, so when they look at the recording, you know, they get the answer that they were looking for. Someone else said the only how they see too much ether is with weight, like somebody who is fat, right? But no, is that too much ether? Or is that some other element? It will be some other element, because it's not, they might be taking up more space, you know, but the extra weight is not the ether, right? It's all the other elements put together, plus the drugs and stuff. You know, it's just a lot of toxic waste type thing, right? Let me see. No, let me see. With the, what do you call it? This weekend, what we're gonna do, you're gonna duplicate 3 recipes for me, and you're just gonna put them to the side because you're gonna use them later on. Every Thursday when we meet, we'll be making something. So that's how much weeks. 24 weeks we spending together, and every week you make something new, something different. You know, so read up on your herbs. When it comes to getting the herbs and stuff like that, as I say, I'll put the list together. I'm still putting it together, because what I want to do in If we could do it in the ending of October, would be great, right? Everybody in here did the liver cleanse? No? Okay. So this is something you will have to do. Now, you could do it when we start, or you could do it later on. But you're going to do it, because anything that I tell somebody to do, I did. If I blend a tea for somebody, I drink some, I taste it. You know, so it's not like, I don't just tell people to do stuff. We had to do everything so we could know what is going on with the body, right? We're gonna do a liver cleanse. All right, we start maybe either, it's definitely gonna be a challenge. Somebody's mic is on and they're walking somewhere.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Down to, as I say, maybe the end of what do you call it? Yeah, I'm gonna put it together where you're gonna use herbs that you have at home, and most of it is not. Well, when we talk herbs, we talk about food and stuff. Like tonight, right? When we almost finish, I'm gonna go in the kitchen and I'm gonna show you how to make super tonic. I'm gonna show you how to make garlic oil. I'm gonna show you how to make a spray for congestion up in the head, right? I'm gonna show you how to make that, and when I show you how to make that, you're gonna duplicate that over the weekend. Take your pictures, post them. You could either post them here, post them on Instagram. I'm following everyone in here, so I will see them and I'll know that you did it. As simple as that, right?
The onion sauce too, right?
Oh, the onion sauce.
Yeah.
Let me see. If I have the onion, I will definitely do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. But as I say, the liver cleanse, we're doing it in later on down, because what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do it like raw, like if we had nothing, all we had was food, right? If all we had was food, that's most of what we're gonna be using, and then we will add in some herbs and stuff like that. Because at the end of the liver cleanse, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let you have to put together a tea, a liver gallbladder tea, right? And I'll tell you from now, every tea that you blend, you have to support the liver, right? This is why it's named the liver. Without it, we're not living, all right? So anytime you blend a tea, you have to support the liver, right? Just keep that in mind. Anytime stuff start breaking down with the body, the liver is compromised. That's before anything enters the body. It has to pass the liver. So if it enter the body that you sick, the liver is compromised long time. Okay, and this is why we do the liver cleanse. I've been doing it for a long time. I used to work in what they call it, environmental protection, with a lot of chemicals and a lot of plants. To the day where I freeze up, my whole body just cramp up, and they had to rush me to the hospital. Went in the hospital, they quarantined my ass because some staph infection was going on that time. And they was like, nothing wrong with you. Give me a bunch of drugs to relax my muscles. And I came home. And obviously, I just drink my teas. After I took the first one, I was like, nah, I can't take no more. Drink my teas, stretch, and I was good. But it's crazy. But anyway, we're going to get into that because, as I say, every week we're going to be making something. I'm going to give you everything because you can't be eating, as clean as ever, drinking a bunch of herbs and then using the same type of cleaning products in your house, right? That don't make no sense. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. If you You know, just put in your ideas, right? All I giving you is ideas per se, and then you create it, you change it into what you need to make it, right? If you get any, how to put it, you feel like you want to run with one of these as a product, do it, right? And just sell that shit, make a lot of damn money, you know? It's only one product you need. You don't need 10, right? I would let her, hopefully she will come on one of these nights and I will, introduce her and she could tell all you that when you're trying to make a bunch of products, it drains the hell out of you. All you need is one, right? So yeah, that's for them. And reason why we're doing it in around this time also, every spring and every fall there's a transition, right? We remember when we talk about the body, we talk about two things. We talk about the mind, we talk about the body, seen and the unseen. When it comes to temperature, there's only hot and there's cold. And in the spring and in the fall is where the transformation happens. This is why when you see springtime come, we get a lot of greens. Then through the summer, the greens die down, and then fall comes back again, right? So we always prepare anybody for the change. Now we started with space. When you look at nature, right? When would you say are we entering a time of space? I know we didn't cover the other elements yet, but what part of the year will you say space is more dominant? Ether is more dominant. All right, let me ask this. In your day, right? In your 24-hour day, when is ether more dominant? Because you experience a year in a day, right? And you experience a day in a minute and all them types of stuff. So,
At night, I would say.
at night?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, but why would you say at night?
I guess because you are like energetically disconnected from your body. I guess is that's I'm just guessing here.
Okay. No, that's good. You energetically disconnected from your body, yeah. Yeah. I would take that. But I would also do this. Well, you wasn't here before, but remember we keeping shit simple, right? So we know that when we talk about ether, the color that represents ether is black, darkness, right? We know that ether is space. So once we continue observing as we do our night walks, what we will start seeing as it gets colder, right? We will start seeing the leaves start falling off. The leaves start falling off, the birds start leaving, different animals start leaving. So now, in the winter time, is a time where ether is dominant because there's more space everywhere, right? There's less leaves, there's less animals, there's sometimes less people in your area, right? So we're going into space. And why it's basically a challenge, a true challenge, because I want to do it around Thanksgiving time, because for some reason we are taught that although nature is preparing for ether to come and getting our bodies ready for it, or should be getting our bodies ready for it, we take it upon ourselves to eat like crazy, right? And then Thanksgiving comes around and we eat till we fall asleep. Christmas, same thing, New Year, same thing. I wonder why the body, just starts breaking down so soon. But I mean, it's just, you all could put it to the test. This is what I'm saying. Don't believe, I don't want you to believe anything I'm talking about. I want you to take it and put it to the test so you will know. That's all I'm saying, right? Because once you start this journey, there's no turning back. If you turn back, you will hurt. I'll tell you straight up, you will hurt. You will feel your body start breaking down. And what I will say, I will hope, which I don't really hope, that you could catch yourself and bounce right back. Because if you don't, it's gonna hurt, man. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. I know. That's why I could say that. I put the body through a lot, and this is why I could do what I do, and how so much is just coming from me. But all right, so remember, observation is key. We're going to look at it all the time. Look at where ether is, especially at night when you're sleeping. You're disconnected from your body. That's your ether. Springtime is in the morning, of course, when you're up and you hype. And then this summer, hot 12 noon. And we're going to fall when you go home and you sit down reflecting on your day, looking at the sunset, cussing out everybody on work, right? And then at nighttime you rest. So we're gonna do that. Let me see. Are you ready for the? So before we go forward, do you have any questions? I know two other people. Aaliyah and Hannah, do you have the assignments with the herbs, single herbs for each condition? If you're ready, we could hear you now.
No, I don't have mine.
No? Okay. How about you? Yeah, you all right. Well, when you're ready, you could either type it out or you could call it out. Just know you gotta explain why you choose to use it. All you drinking, I ain't see no cups tonight. All you don't drink tea at night? What the hell?
Hey, did you send us the list for the herbs yet?
The herbs? No, I didn't send it yet. Nope.
Okay, because I was looking out for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
So I didn't get the assignment, but kind of looking through some of my old notes, I would say that for constipation, I would use bladderwrack, mostly because the fact that it's an organic acid, and it promotes smooth digestive process. So yeah, that's what I got for that one.
So how does it promote the digestive process though? What about it? What about its characteristics help promote the digestive process?
I'm thinking, hold on.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Why do you think there? I think, let's see. No, I saw something pop up. Catnip for constipation helps promote gastric juices. Yeah, I'll take that. Yep. Catnip. Catnip is catnip actually does very well with the digestive system, especially when it comes to the little ones. It actually cleanses the entire GI tract, believe it or not, right? For constipation, yes, it will work because it's mild. But put it like this: you will know, you will know what to use, right, and how much of it to use. Because if you have somebody who's really constipated, you're gonna have to amp up on that catnip, right? Um, but it's definitely a good one when it comes to not only the constipation but the indigestion also. Aloe vera for indigestion, yep, we talk about that too. Right, soothing the soothes the acid. Well, like this, it actually promotes acid, right? The bitterness of the aloe actually promotes the stomach to produce more acid, right? So it don't really soothe. I don't like the word soothe because it sounds like you're babying something, like a band-aid. We don't use band-aids. We come in and we just eliminate problems and roll out. But yes, when it comes to bladder Melissa, that is definitely good for um, the constipation, right? Remember, because now when you mention bladder, we're talking about sea vegetable. We're talking about high minerals. When we talk about salt, right? What is salt? You guys tell me, what is salt? Salt is just a rock, right? It's all right. So it's a mineral. Okay. Is it a mineral or is it a bunch of minerals? Because when we look at what do you call it, Irish moss and all them things, bladderwrack and all that, kelp, right? They're salty, right? And with that salt, it's a compound of minerals that you're dealing with, right? And when I say a compound of minerals, there's talk about 98 of the 102. So when you're dealing with something like Celtic sea salt, that's straight all the minerals your body could need, right? And this is why there's a guy in Australia that uses it. He mixes, I think, a half teaspoon in a glass of water for his people with high blood pressure, and they drink it. And within half an hour, the blood pressure is like, right? In certain places, they tell you to stay. If you have high blood pressure, they tell you stay away from the salt, right? That is correct. But they ain't talking about sea salt, right? They're talking about road salt, that table salt that they have on the table and they shake. That's what they're talking about. That same salt they put to melt the ice and the snow, right? So we're talking minerals, all minerals. So now, when you use the bladder rack, remember, salt does what? Salt pulls water. This is why when you go to a bar and there's nothing but peanuts, and the more peanuts you eat, the more salt you take down, the more beers you want to drink, right? They have it all planned out. It's not by mistake. It's not that, oh, they just like peanuts, right? They're about profit. They want us to drink. So yeah, eat up the salt, eat up the chips, right? So now, when you take the bladder rack is pulling water as it going, and we know it's a sea vegetable, so it will expand once it reaches in the body. As it reaches in the colon and it expands, even before the colon, the stomach, it starts to expand. So here you have your fiber. Here, the salt, the sea vegetable is actually pulling water and it's moving it. It's not staying still because now you have that whole energy that's flowing through there, right? And that is how you get that good, nice ball movement. Unless you run into concrete, the blood, those things will work, right? Concrete you will see concrete if you run into a client who uses a lot of those protein powders, you can find concrete to the point where you might not be able to do anything. So they will have to go and do the surgery to remove it. But it's just to know. All right. So let me see. Let me go. Everything is just about setup. So if you all could give me like 5 minutes, let me move from here, go in the kitchen, set the camera up, and then we continue. Cool? Okay. I hear no response, but I'll assume it's cooking.
Okay, cool.
All right. Let's see. I have that. Lord, check. So let me see if I can set this thing right. What the fuck? Cool. Let's get out to close on this thing. All right, you want to see it, right? Yes, I believe. All right, cool. So this is, well, I know this is the black walnut from last night. What we have here is a piece of horseradish, piece of ginger, we have garlic. You know, when I working with peppers, I like to, you know, mix them up, right? If you don't have the whole peppers and you have the powders, then what I'll tell you is when you're looking at pepper and powder, you want to look at the hot units, right? So anything over 50,000 is what we will say is kind of pure to the point where bacteria cannot survive in it, right? Anything under that, then you're working with just about anything. So what we're going to make first is, let me see, buddy. I'll do the shit, oil. Oh my God. Anyway, all right. So what we're gonna do first is the spray. Now, how are you gonna use this spray? Let me talk to all you. All right. So how you gonna use this spray? You're gonna make it with the horseradish, right? You're gonna make it. We're just gonna slice it up, put it in the jar. As you put it in the jar, now we're gonna cover it with alcohol, right? This one is the alcohol tincture. And what we're gonna do is use it as a spray. You will have somebody, you will rub it in your hands and inhale, right? To clear your sinuses. Now, I'm gonna use the black walnut, the alcohol from the black walnut in this one because anytime you're dealing with somebody who has a lot of sinus issues, nose always running, as the headache, inflammation in the head, is one thing. It's a bunch of parasites. They're loaded with parasites. Now, we talk about black walnut. Black walnut, when it comes to parasites, is number one, but it is a nut. So if someone is allergic to nuts, you could choose another something else to add to this. And as just by the inhaling alone, it will clear it up, and then now you have black walnut up there dealing with stuff. So as it clear, you might have a lot of drip because the body starts releasing all the garbage. But anytime you're dealing with a lot of congestion in your head, just keep in mind that it's parasites, because remember, the body produces the mucus to protect its organs. Because if these bacteria make it into your organs, you're in some serious problems, right? So we're gonna make that tincture first, simple, and then we move to the next one. Let's see, flip this shit around. Boom. Right. Don't go out and get no big bottles and stuff like this. Get some small bottles. If you could get smaller than this, that would be good too. Right. So you don't want to make no big batch. Just a small amount. Like, there's ways you could do this. There are ways you could do this. If you have one of them food processors, you could food process it. You could blend it down if you want. I don't really like blending it down, because once I blend this down, now it's in a pulp, and then I add it to here, what will happen is I still gotta blend it after before I squeeze it out. So when I pour it out, all the liquid will come out, and then the pulp stuck in here. When I drop the pulp in, it could actually clog the blender, and you gotta scoop and all that shit. So we ain't doing that. I just slice it up, dump it in here. Right. The least time you spend with a tincture is 6 weeks. Right? Yeah, this is the horseradish. Right? And it's real nice. It smells really good, and it does a lot. So yeah, we're just gonna add this alcohol here. There's just like Smirnoff alcohol I use. Right? There's just like Smirnoff alcohol. So I don't really like too much alcohol tinctures. If you have an alcohol tincture, normally we use like the strong alcohol. When we get there, you'll see it. But you could always mix it with water, right? The mother of all solvents. And this right here, I'm going to top it off with some water, and then how we seal it, remember, to keep it alive, this is the cover for it here, right? This seal will seal it shut, and then whatever is in here, right, could cause a problem. But due to the fact that it's alcohol, more than like you okay. Now, this is why when you're making a tincture, I say get a smaller bottle, because now I have to go and add alcohol all the way up to the top. Because the less air I get in here, the better it is. What I experience is, if you leave air in there with these kind of caps too, what happens is start breaking down, and the actual cap itself starts breaking down and falling in the shit, and you guys gotta throw away a whole batch of shit you just made. All right, but this will seal. Now, remember, as we say, to be alive, and this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with life, right? We're dealing with energy. To be that energy, you have to maintain these elements. So if I seal it, then there will be no air flowing through here. So what I'm going to do is get a, I don't have one, but I'm just going to show you. This is a Ziploc bag, as we know. Just the regular ones. And then you cover it here, and you put your lid on it, right? Just like that. You put your lid on it, screw it on, but not tight, so that air could flow through it. And then you just put it in the darkness some, right? And once you make yours, you put it aside, and when we're ready, you know, I'll be checking the weeks because I'm putting mine aside too. And then we'll blend it down. And as we blend it down, we'll squeeze it out. And once we squeeze it out now, we bottle it and we have it ready to go. When you also, please label your stuff. Please put your label on there, what's in it and all of that. Right? Next one we're doing is the super tonic. And remember, you see all this shit is in your kitchen already, okay? We're doing the super tonic where I'm putting the 3 peppers. Right, you put 3 type of peppers. Cut it up if you want. Now, if you scared of pepper, it's not a problem, you know. But definitely you want the seeds, right? The seeds is the hottest, is where the heat comes from. You won't be making a big batch, so you ain't gotta worry about too much burning on your hands or stuff like that. Put a piece of ginger in there. Remember, you're just making a little batch, so you don't need much. You measure it out of how you feel. If you feel that you need to put more ginger, you could do that. You know, if you want to use a food processor, you could do that too. Just remember, right, we're dealing with energy here. So food processor don't really have the energy, right? So this is why you use your hands. There's so much more done. That's why I don't really promote that whole gloves and shit, plastic rubber gloves when people serving food. But then again, yo, there's some people who serving food out there, you really don't want that energy of your food. No. All right. Ooh, god damn. Nice. Horseradish is no joke, you know. Yeah. What I'm going to do with this, being that the horseradish and ginger, I'm going to blend it down and then put it in the butter. Right. This gets garlic too. Oh yeah, yeah. It look like cassava, but man, I tell you, it's way different. You don't have to. You don't have to peel your garlic or anything like that. Just take out the outer shell. If there's anybody who don't eat garlic because of let me cover that one time, yeah. Because I know there's what do you call it? A lot of people with don't eat garlic kind of peppers. Yeah, cayenne. I like cayenne, you know. They say cayenne is the king of herbs. You know, but when it comes to garlic, a lot of people don't eat garlic because they say garlic is acidic. Garlic is neither or. Garlic is anti everything. You know, just without peeling the garlic, if you have an ear infection or something like that, without peeling the garlic, don't peel the garlic, right? But if it has the skin on it, and you just want to rest it in the air, right? Just rest it in the air, and you will see that whole ear infection clear up. Now, depending on how bad it is and depending on who it is, maybe they could actually start just eat garlic, just chew it up. And we know when we chew garlic how it feels, how it just explodes and just goes everywhere, right? Ear infection, this is why we're making garlic oil. When we get to the garlic oil, we're gonna make the garlic oil, and then we're gonna squeeze it off. When we squeeze it off, now we have our garlic oil. We could put a couple of drops in the air in the event of some type of ear infection. And then now, once we squeeze it off, we're gonna flip around, add more olive oil to it, and then we're gonna use that olive oil for if we want to make garlic bread and stuff like that, right? So garlic now is anti-everything. You will hear people, I know you all hear people talk about, oh, you have high blood pressure, eat garlic. Yeah, garlic does thin the blood. The blood was never designed to be thin. The blood was designed to be clean. Once the blood is clean, then it will flow, right? Once the blood is clean and all the arteries and stuff is clean, you will have no problem with flow, right? So when you eat the garlic, it's not that it's thinning the blood, it's cleansing. It's cleansing the whole inside, the entire system. Now with garlic too, if you have a little child or even grown adult, you could actually pound the garlic up, make a paste, put it under the feet, right? And well, you're gonna make the paste with oil because you don't want to put the garlic directly on the foot because it might burn. So you want to use a little oil in it. Once you use a little oil, now you put the paste under the foot and you put the socks on, right? By morning, when they speak to you, you just be smelling the garlic coming out the breath because the transfer of energy through the body with the garlic. So garlic is something you should have on hand at all times, everywhere in your house, all right? So let me see. Any questions so far? Let me check this chat here because I kind of back and forth. All right, no, I see no questions.
Oh, one question. So for people who don't like garlic or who just can't eat it, what can we recommend for them?
Well, it depends on what's going on. When you talk about when it comes to cleansing the blood in a case of high blood pressure or something like that.
Right.
All right. Well, then no. Well, then you could go into a whole lot of things, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you could go into a whole lot of things. Now you could go into. Now it depends on who you're dealing with. If they really can't take nothing at all, you could go straight into sorrel, right? Hibiscus. Hibiscus energizes the blood like crazy, right? You go into who else, boy? I mean, you could go into so much hawthorn berries. You could go into shit, even cayenne pepper. That's why they call it the king. Cayenne, right? Will not only energize the blood, but it will actually just energize the whole body. This is why when we take it, like mix some in water and drink it on, you just get energized because now your blood is flowing like crazy. Right? It's one of the herbs when we make the cayenne tincture. It's something you should have on you at all times because in the event of so-called heart attacks and stuff like that, you get that cayenne under the tongue, and what happens is moves the blood, so there's no clots forming or anything like that, right? But yeah, there's a lot of things other than that you could use. Well, all right, so it's not really, when you use it for that purpose, right? It will help cleanse the blood also, but that purpose is more for like bacteria in the body, right? like somebody feeling a little sick, you know, a child feeling sick, they can't really eat the garlic, and no, they ain't eating that. You could make a garlic tea with it, right? But and sometimes you can make the garlic honey, but most of the time it's for like when they have a little sickness, cough, and stuff like that. You put it under the feet and it just come up through the body, just destroying bacteria, right? You know, but there's so many ways you could use just garlic. So as we go through and we learn about the different herbs, this is what I'm telling you. Yo, at the end of the day, you should be able to do anything with just about anything that you have, right? So this is what we're gonna do. Let me do the what do you call it? Boom. All right. So one day, once you get into really all of this stuff here, you're gonna just have to invest in a good blender. I would definitely recommend, you know, the Vitamix. And put everything in. And, you know, if you want to wash it, you could, but when you add all that pepper, you know, bacteria forming in your super tonic. It's a guarantee. They could sit for a very long time.
Wait, did you add the clove of garlic in there?
Yeah, I put all 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then this is the menstruum. We call the base the menstruum. So this is the menstruum for it, because this is basically food that you could have in your fridge. You could have the tonic, the super tonic itself in a dropper bottles where you could, you know, put it in somebody's mouth if they need to. There's the stuff you use, you know, on a regular, or like when something is coming on and you feel your throat tickling and all of that, boom, you could start this one time and, you know, clear it up before it gets any worse. Right? What we're doing here is adding some shit.
So I missed this when you first started making this. Is this blend similar or serves the same purpose as the first blend, or is this has a different purpose?
Yeah, different purpose. The first blend it had what, boy? The first blend was for the spray, right? Which you would spray in somebody's hands, they would rub it up in their hand and then inhale it, right? Clearing up the sinuses. This will help with the sinuses too, but this is more, how to put it, boy? It does a whole lot more. This could actually, you could actually eat this and survive on a daily, right? Because this right here, we're gonna make a tincture out of it. Then we're gonna turn it into some salad dressing that we could use later on and eat with food. So it's basically you're constantly energizing the body and keeping it, how to put it, keeping the immune response very active, right? So as I say, anything, I can't tell you the last time I was sick to tell you shooting. All right, so let me just blend this. I'm gonna put this thing on mute because it's gonna make a lot of noise. Woo! Ah, 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 ah. Ah, God, man. Woo! All right, so check this out. When you let me switch this on. When you blend down yours, when you blend yours down, you always open it up and just smell it, right? Just take a whiff. You put your nose as close as possible on this, and just take a nice deep breath, and then start pouring. Okay, that is crucial. Let's see. Trying to get this thing to turn. All right, cool. All right. So normally, this right here will be way redder than this because it will have more pepper. I just love pepper because of the whole cayenne action inside there, but it will be more red than this. But this right here is staying just like this, and you're gonna put it, cap it, put it in the dark, and let it sit. All right, that's two down. And now with these here, if you want, you could always get the shelled garlic. That way you ain't gotta go through all of this here, because normally this I make in a big batch because the whole, it tastes real good when you making stuff, man. You put a garlic sauce kind of thing on it, and then you could add it to like a hemp seed dressing or something. Listen, this shit will, you'll get addicted to it. So, but normally I would do way more than this. This is just for demo purposes, of course. And this one here, you definitely want to take the shell off because you plan to use it many different ways. Not just, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we blending it down. So if you want to leave it on, you can. It don't really matter. Right. Remember, oil and water don't mix, so make sure your thing is clean and clear and dry. Now I'm just going to do this here. Now, when you all doing it, I want to see this at least 3/4 ways up. All right, just doing it like this because I don't feel like chopping up. You ain't want to watch me chop up garlic for 5-10 minutes. I know you just add your olive oil. I love olive oil. It's just, but if you choose another oil, you can. Just I'm gonna fill this up. So I ain't putting too much olive oil in there. And this is basically an infusion, right? And we're gonna make garlic oil out of this, where we could bottle it and have it in case of ear infections and stuff like that, or even skin infection. You could use it also. And then once we finish with it, once we blend it down and all of that, the rest stays there, and we just scoop it out and eat it with everything that we want to. Right? The onion, right? Hold on a second there. Let me see if I find an onion. No. You know, but onion is not, like, onion is not the best. I've been away and I guess, yeah, and onion is all wrong and shit. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so we got good neighbors. So you just ring your neighbor bell and, you know, take the onion right out. Now, with the onion, we could do this a couple ways, right? Do it this way first, but I'm not going to bake it because I can't remember the last time I turned on the oven. I don't even know if it's working. Yep, do this. Put this up here. And so we're gonna make the onion paste. You know, you could just leave the onion in the room and it will take care of a lot of bacteria that's in the air already, right? Now with this here, where might be going? I don't know. All right, so you could slice it as thin as you want. You know them thing that they be scraping up. But once you get it like that, see if you'll find a plan. All right, so picture this as a big pan, right? Picture this as a big pan, and flat baking pans. And you're just gonna lay your onions in there. You know, just lay onions in there. And what you're gonna do now is you could use honey. In this case right here, I ain't got no honey, so I'm going to use some agave. Oh, should seal tight, man. All right. So what we do now is basically you just put this in your oven on the lowest temperature. Some ovens could go as low as 200. I think some even lower. You put it in there and you just let it sit for like, I would say about 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes tops. And what will happen is you just start oozing out, like, and basically blending with the agave or the honey. Right? The longer you leave it, of course, it's going to pull out more. And as it pulls out now, when you scoop it, you know, they will take it down because now it has that sweetness to it. It works well with children, you know that for sure. Um, Now, if you wanna, if you want, we could flip this and make it a next way too. If you don't have the oven to bake, what you would do is slice this up, right? And you'll pack it in one of these and do the same thing. Fill it with the honey or the agave or whatever sweetener you choose. And you know, as I say, you could put it somewhere where it's kind of warm. Maybe in the winter time, you put it on the radiator, right? Not too hot, right? Not too hot. And just let it sit, and it will just basically is an infusion, right? That tastes good, right? So basically, it's an infusion that you would do, and it's the same thing. Later on, as I say, we will get into some more stuff because I'm gonna show you all more of how you could you know, make other things, right? Or make it in different ways, right? So if you don't have this, it's not like, oh, I don't know, no. Whatever you have, you'll be able to use to get shit done. As simple as that. All right. Any questions on any of the what I call it? Let me see. Things there. Boom, boom, boom.
So on the one with the onion, the last one, what
Mhm.
all is that one good for?
That one is for like congestion on the chest and stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one with the onion is for like chest congestion and stuff like that. Um, you know, as I say, as we go along, next week we're doing respiratory. So I will be making other things, and you know, you will. I want to show you all how to make a poultice for the chest to actually help, you know, pull out. Oh, he made it with the orange peel, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you could make it with so many other things. Or no, that's more internal. Yeah, that's for internal, like, cause normally you'll have it in a jar, and then they'll just scoop it out and you know give the child or whatever to help break up anything that's on the chest and stuff like that. So you know, onion is the next one of those. How to put it, boy? One of those everyday things that we eat that helps with cleansing the body of bacteria and stuff like that. And not only cleansing the body, if you put an onion somewhere in your room, right? Especially in children's room, you know, they come home and they have all the things and it's everywhere, right? Anything that they bring home, they get caught up in that rapture of the onion, right? And nobody gets sick. And you just see an onion just starting to shrivel faster and faster. Now, something like that you gotta pay attention to, right? Because it's happening for a reason. You know, if it's shriveling faster than it normally would, something is there's always something happening, something's going on. Right? But yeah, any more questions? Nothing else? Okay. So over the weekend, right? You all duplicate those um three, four. Yeah, 4 little home remedies there that you could do. And if you choose to, as I say, you could play with it, right? You all know different herbs that you use already. Play with it and come up with your own thing. Just make sure, just know that you have to use it before anybody else uses it, right? And yeah, that should be it. Let me see. By tomorrow, I'll have the respiratory up that you all could go and read up on the respiratory. So when we meet on Tuesday, we will go through it. If you have conditions of respiratory, we could look at it. I will look at some of the main ones. I think it was last year I helped somebody with what do they call that? Pneumonia? Yeah. Walking pneumonia. Some people just crazy, man. I was like, go to the hospital. Some people just don't want to go to the hospital, but I did say go to the hospital. I gave them something and it worked very well. They're still here and they're enjoying themselves. So there's a lot of things you could do. There's nothing to fear, but you always tell people, go take care of that shit. Don't take on everything. And it's not you, right? It's not you. It's more them than anything else. All right. Yeah. So yes. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Sometimes we get out early because people don't have any questions. So I'm assuming that everything was understood and everything is okay. And as I said, you could ask anything here. You could say what you feel here. It don't really matter to me one way or the other. It is what it is. We're not here to hold in anything. We're here to be the energy that we are. And if we be in the energy that we are, then everything has to flow. Everything has to flow. Yes, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. No problem. Everything has to flow. So as much as we go into making stuff and working with the herbs, working with people, at the end of the day, all we're dealing with is energy. Now, I said after, we did the elements, but if you all feel at any point in time you want to start doing consultations, start advertising, start making posts about it, and let the people reach out to you. And with that said, this weekend I'll send out the intake sheet, so look out for it. I will send it to everyone's email, and I'll put it in the group. That way you could just copy the link down, and then you type it out however you want. What I use is Google Docs, and that way I could send it to people. They fill it out, they send it. It comes back to me, and it's supposed to be secure, so it stays secure. Once you create your own, if you use Google Docs or you use Apple or whoever, then make sure it comes right back to you, and it's secure, because you don't want people information all over the place, right? So make sure it's secure, and then we go from there. Okay? I am here for the 6-month period. Use me. Okay? Because when the 6-month period is basically done, I don't know if I'm going to be that accessible. right? So I'm here. You guys have questions, dump them in the group. It don't matter what it is, and just we work together on it. All right. Yeah. So if nobody have any more questions, then we could just flow out of here. Everybody could go and get some good rest for the day tomorrow. And yeah, so Tuesday's respiratory. The assignment, weekend assignment is what I just demonstrated. You gotta make all three, right? The first one with the black walnut, remember I just used it because I didn't have the alcohol. And plus the black walnut is good for parasites too. So when they sniff that shit like that, it's just like whew, everything clear up. They could breathe now. The pain it ease up, so stuff like that, you're always good to have on hand. Never know. Then they'll be like, oh shoot. All right, if you have black walnut powder, you could use the black walnut powder. But this is what I'll say. Being that you have as a spray and you rub it in the hand, when you squeeze it out, make sure and use a real fine cloth that the powder itself wouldn't penetrate and go through, because now the powder would be in the liquid. And when I do this, yeah, you could use cheesecloth and double it with what do you call it, flannel. You could use flannel too. Get some white flannel and or the natural flannel and just paint strainers work also. Okay, yeah, right. So yes, in the super tonic was apple cider vinegar. All right. Yeah, but just because now if you have powder and once you rub it up in your hand, you're gonna generate the heat, and with the heat now, right? Friction is heat. So when they do that, the alcohol will start to evaporate. So as soon as they open their hand, everything goes up and clears up that whole shit, right? So it's all about, all we're working with is the elements, and we just add in little things in there. They'll be like, what the hell? What is that? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. $20 a bottle. Come on, talk to me. All right, you all. So it was good. And we'll continue. I'm gonna do some more stuff and be on the Instagram stuff too. I will tag you all and everything, because they have to know you all. They have to know you all, right? In 6 months' time, you all should have a lot of clients if you want. I mean, if you just want to keep it to yourself, you could do that too, but I say no, right? All right, so good night, everyone, and we will talk, okay?